Hello, my dear students. Welcome to a new episode of Life Science. Today, we will talk about the skeletal system. When you hear the word skeleton, you may think of the remains of something that has died, but actually, your skeleton is not dead. Your skeleton is very much alive. You may think of your bones that your bones are dry and brittle. The word brittle means fragile, means it is easily broken. But actually, your bones are alive and active. The bones, cartilage, and the connective tissue that holds the bones together, they make up your skeletal system. So the bones and the cartilage, this is the white parts that cover the tips of our bones, and the connective tissue that hold the bones together. These all make up your skeletal system. The average adult human skeleton has about 206 bones. Bones help support and protect parts of your body, like, for example, the skull. The skull protects your brain. Bones work with your muscles so you can move. Yes, the skeletal system works with the muscular system to allow you to move. Bones also help your body maintain homeostasis. This is very important because the bones store minerals and make blood cells. So what is the definition of the skeletal system? This is the organ system whose primary function is to support and protect the body and allow the body to move. The skeletal system is the organ system whose primary function is to support and protect the body and allow the body to move. Here is different parts of the skeletal system. We have the skull, the clavicle, the humerus and radius and ulna. This is for your arm, the ribs for your rib cage. Also, we have the pelvic girdle and the vertebral column. This is the backbone. We have tibia and fibula in the lower leg, and the upper leg we have femur, and in our knee we have the patella. This is very important. And these are the four main functions of the skeleton. Number one, protection. Your heart and lungs are protected by your ribs in the rib cage. Your spinal cord is protected by vertebrae, and your brain is protected by the skull. The second function of the skeletal system is storage. Bones store minerals that help your nerves and muscles function properly. Long bones store fat that can be used for energy later. The third function is movement. Skeletal muscles, which are the muscles attached to the skeleton, it pull on bones to produce movement. Without bones, you would not be able to sit, stand, walk, or even run. Number four, the last function of the skeletal system, blood cell formation. Some of your bones are filled with a special material that makes blood cells. This material is called marrow. This is the marrow. What about the bone structure? What about the parts inside a bone? A bone may seem lifeless, but actually a bone is a living organ made of several different tissues. The bone is made of connective tissue and minerals. Those minerals are deposited by living cells called osteoclasts. Osteoclasts. These are the cells that deposit the minerals in bones. If you look inside a bone, you will notice two kinds of bone tissue. One, compact bone, and number two, spongy bone. Let's look about them. What about the compact bone? Compact bone is the bone tissue that does not have any visible open spaces. The compact bone, from its name, it is compact, so there are no any visible open spaces. Compact bone is rigid and dense. Tiny canals within compact bone contain small blood vessels. Yes, to nourish the blood, to deliver the blood to the compact bone. What about the spongy bone? From its name, it's spongy. This is the bone tissue that has many open spaces. The spongy bone provides most of the strength and support for a bone. The spongy bone is the bone tissue that has many open spaces. Spongy bone provides most of the strength and support for a bone. Bones contain a soft tissue called the marrow. Do you remember? This is what makes the blood cells. There are two types of marrow. We have red marrow and yellow marrow. The red marrow produces both red and white blood cells, while the yellow marrow is found in the central cavity of long bones and stores fat. So the yellow marrow is found in adult bones. This is a TS or a cross section in a bone to show us the cartilage, the upper part. Then we have the marrow, the compact bone, and the spongy bone, and the blood vessels that deliver food and oxygen for the bones. In children, red marrow fills the center of long bones. Then this red marrow is replaced with yellow marrow as children become an adult. Okay, what about bone growth? Did you know that most of your skeleton used to be soft and rubbery? Yes, this might be surprising. Most bones start out as a flexible tissue called cartilage. Most bones start as a flexible tissue called cartilage. When you were born, you didn't have much true bone. Yes, as you grew, most of the cartilage was replaced by bone. During childhood, most bones still have growth plates of cartilage. So this is the first place of bones. These growth plates provide a place for bones to continue growing. Feel the end of your nose or bend the top of your ear, the end of your nose or the top of your ear. These areas are two places where cartilage is never replaced by bone. So this is still cartilage. You can bend it without breaking it or feeling any hurt. These areas stay flexible. Then we move to another part called joints. A joint, this is a place where two or more bones meet. What is a joint? It's a place where two or more bones meet. Your joints allow your body to move when your muscles contract. Your joints allow your body move when your muscles contract. Some joints, such as fixed joints, allow little or no movement. Many of the joints in the skull are fixed joints. Yes, the skull is different parts of the bones that have joints in between. They are called fixed joints. They allow little or no movement. Okay, then what? Other joints, such as the shoulder, it allows a lot of movement. This is the shoulder joint. You can move your arm in all directions. Joints can be classified based on how the bones in a joint move. For example, your shoulder is named a ball and socket joint. Okay, let's see the three types of joints. We have the first one, gliding joint. Gliding means sliding joint. Gliding joints allow bones in the hand and wrist to glide over one another and give some flexibility to the area. So this is in your wrist. The gliding joints allow bones in the hand and wrist to glide over one another and give some flexibility to the area, as you can see right here. The second type is ball and socket joint. As we discussed before, this is like your shoulder joint. As a video game joystick lets you move your character all around, the shoulder lets your arm move freely in all directions, right? And this looks much like the video game joystick. Hinge joint. This is like the hinge of your door. A hinge allows a door to open and close. The knee enables you to flex and extend your lower leg. So it acts as a hinge. This is the gliding joint, like your wrist. Can you see? The bones are gliding over one another. Then the ball and socket joint as your shoulder, and the hinge joint like your knee and elbow. Joints can be classified on how, okay. Then joints can be classified based on how the bones in a joint move. For example, this is a ball and shoulder socket as we discussed before. Then joints are held together by ligaments. This is very important part, the ligaments. Ligaments are strong elastic bands. Do you remember the rubber bands? So they are strong elastic bands of connective tissue. Ligaments are strong elastic bands of connective tissue. Ligaments connect the bone in a joint. So how all our bones are joined together or connected to each other by ligaments. Also, cartilage covers the end of many bones. Why the end of many bones are covered in cartilage? Because the cartilage helps cushion the area in a joint where the bones meet to remove or make the friction less, reduce the friction between bones. Cartilage help cushion the area in the joint where the bones meet. Okay, then we move to the skeletal system injuries and diseases. This is a very important part. Sometimes parts of the skeletal system are injured. Bones may be fractured or broken, like this bone right here. Joints can also be injured at dislocated joint. This is when the bones in a joint separate from each other. A dislocated joint is a joint in which one or more bones have been moved out of place, and this is very painful. A dislocated joint is a joint in which one or more bones have been moved out of place. Then we have something called sprain. This is another joint injury. That happens if a ligament is stretched too far or torn. So if a ligament is stretched too far or torn, this is called a sprain. There are also diseases of the skeletal system, like osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a disease that causes bones to become less dense. Bones become weak and break more easily in osteoporosis. Age and poor eating habits can make it more likely for people to develop osteoporosis. Yes, growing older and poor eating habits. Other bone diseases affect the marrow and they make bones soft. This is called arthritis. Arthritis is the disease that affects the joints. This is painful and the joints may swell or stiffen. Arthritis is a disease that affects the joints and it is painful and joints may swell, become larger in size. They are swollen or blown or stiffen, or they might become hard. Some people are more likely to have some types of arthritis as they get older. So growing older, this is a major symptom, or this is a major cause for most of the skeletal system injuries and diseases. I hope you understood this part and see you in the next episode. Thank you guys and goodbye.